I'm just going to say quickly before Nicole takes the stage that Mamia and I, our lives were changed by our participation in an African city. We had to stop going to Macy's, in fact, because Africans love Macy's. People say retail is dead, but retail will never die as long as there is Macy's and Africans. And we were in Macy's and, minding our business, going for, the next deal on the food processor, and somebody grabs us.
No, they didn't grab. They tapped our collarbone, like...
In the personal space.
When is season 2?
Exactly.
When is season 3? Not even hello, nothing.
Nothing. When is season 2? So thank you, Nicole, for ruining Macy's for me. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Nicole, where are you?
Look, welcome our sister.
God, there's so much I want to say. I remember once during graduate school, before my days in television, I had an interview at the World Bank. During the interview, someone asked me, "Why is education so important?" Immediately, right there on 1818 H Street, Northwest Washington, D.C., I started to cry. And I don't mean a cute cry. I mean what Oprah calls the ugly cry. Tears, lots of tears running down my cheeks, snot running down my nose, my voice crackling. Why did I cry? Because in the very moment that she asked me that question about the importance of education, in my mind I saw some faces of some people I knew back in Accra, Ghana. My life was full of opportunity, theirs was not. For those whose images were flashing in my mind, what made their lives lack opportunity was a lack of education. What made my life full of opportunity was simply that, education. When it comes to success, the fine line is education. I think sometimes about the day back in 1966 when my father, Nicole Amarteifio, where's my dad? He's somewhere. I think sometimes about the day back in 1966 when my father, Nicole Amarteifio, received a scholarship to study at Wesleyan. He had never been on a plane before, but he acted like he had. And I was not yet born. The thing is, those decision makers who decided to award those 100 or so students with scholarships, I wonder if they knew that their impact would go beyond just those 100 students, but to the children of those 100 students, to the children of those 100 students. The impact of AAI has gone beyond just my dad. The impact of AAI is felt on his 3 children, Michael, Walter, and me. It has even been felt by the 10-year-old boy selling chewing gum on the side of the road, who my dad then afforded an education at Achimota, followed by university. It is felt by the children of his employees, a driver who now has a son in medical school, and a domestic worker with no high school education who has 2 young children in private school. My father even refused to let my brothers and I apply for scholarships, financing our university education himself. He believed he had the opportunity of AAI, so he would now pay it forward by ensuring others had access to such scholarships. AAI is not just an organization, it's a spirit. It's a spirit of education, and it's a spirit of education offered in love. AAI taught my father one very important thing, to take what AAI had done for him and do the same on to others. You see, my father, alongside my amazing mother, Angela Amarteifio. Please wave, Mom. Went on to give his children the best education, and I'm not just talking about the top educational institutions we went on to attend. I'm talking about a life education that gave me the courage and the strength to go out there and create, to go from being an international development consultant down my unexpected journey of being a TV producer, the reason I'm standing here today. Thank you to AAI for an educational spirit that impacts generationally. Thank you to my parents, Nick and Angela Amarteifio, for all the times you spent in the basement of 12503 Portree Drive, watching plays that I had written and directed and acted in with my brothers and my cousins and all the kids from the neighborhood. I want to specifically thank my mother for always being at that front door before I left for school and when I returned from school, with a big hug, a big kiss, and a big plate of Chip Ahoy cookies. In short, thanks for all the emotional support during my educational journey. And thank you to my husband, Ramesh, for 3 months in. Thanks for listening to me practice these remarks over and over and over again. I would pester him and ask him, is it good enough? Is it good enough? And he would reply, it is good enough, because there will be at least one person in this room who will be inspired to support another's education. And thank you to those decision makers back in 1966, because your impact lives on. Thank you. And I will say that I feel sometimes a little bad because I get a lot of kudos for an African city, but an African city wouldn't be what it is without the cast. So Nanaya and Sade, please stand up. And thank you.
Yay, thank you.